Feather Intuitive. Welcome to another Demystify the Divine weekly readings to Reconnect. So excited to have you all here. How has the week been? I know we are getting ready to enter into a Mercury retrograde, and I didn't even realize when it was starting. I knew that it was in September, but I thought it had already started because that is how August has been for me. It's been just an entire Mercury retrograde. And then just happened to discover today on the phone with the client that the shadow doesn't even start until like the 4th of September. So I think Stacy's just having her own personal Mercury retrograde. But hoping everyone is doing well. If you like what you see here, feel free to like, subscribe, and click that bell on my YouTube channel. Also, welcome to all of my Facebook peeps. Really excited to have you. Please feel free to put any comments that you want in the comment feed. Of course, I would appreciate keeping them nice, keeping them positive, but whatever floats your boat. And again, so grateful to have everyone here and everyone participating. So for those of you who are new to this Demystify the Divine, there are a few things that are going to happen. In a minute, Stacy, the black feather, is going to shut up for a second and actually channel the divine for our word of the week, and sometimes it's a phrase of the week. Then I'm going to get us a message about that. Then I'm going to channel a lovely archangel for a supportive message around what's going on. Then we are going to the card pulls. The card pulls are always fun. I don't know, actually, it's not a new deck, but I think it's new to the show. I don't think I've used it before, but if I did, oh well, it's newish. So looking forward to that. And then when we do the sort of the card pull, after that, we're going to do an amazing Q&A experience where you get to grab your decks, you bring your decks onto the show, and we get to pull cards together. So really, we have a jam-packed session for you today. Very excited to get started. And thank you to my fabulous wingman, Keone, and to my fabulous wingwoman, Crystal, who is working the Facebook feed. So grateful for you guys and for all of your support. I'm going to shut up now. I'm going to go within and channel a word of the week or a phrase of the week.
What? She's going to shut up? Wow.
It's going to be a short show. The power of silence. So this week, what I'm really feeling we all need to be aware of is that there's going to be a lot of noise. There's energetic noise that we're going through. There's a lot of, I want to say, untruth, the noise of untruth or the noise of distruth. And this week, we're also going to be running into people who talk for the sake of hearing their own voices. And while, this is kind of rampant in the world, we know this, the message and the guidance that I'm hearing today around the power of silence is really coming up around how we choose to interact with our surroundings. That includes the people. When we say surroundings, we think environment, but people are in our environments. And the power of silence, let's talk about this for a second. I was just sharing this, actually, I think it was last week. I was sharing this with a client. Years and years ago, I was working for the Kitchener-Waterloo Symphony, and they brought in a woman to help us with sales, to help us to improve our sales and to bring cohesion to our team. And she talked about how she learned that her husband was a slow processor of information, where she was a fast processor of information. And so she talked about how she could never figure out why she would ask him a question and he would be silent. And then she would get frustrated and she'd say, okay, well, why aren't you answering me? And his answer would always be no. And she learned, I think it was through therapy or some, whatever it was, she learned that, there's different kinds of processing. And if I'm silent and I'm giving him space to process whatever it is I've asked him for, yeah, he might be silent for 10 minutes. But at the end of that 10 minutes, if I've given him the space to process it, the answer isn't automatically going to be no. It might be no, but it also very easily might be a yes, because he's had the opportunity to process it. So this was really powerful. And I feel like this we can apply to this, the power of silence. When you are in surroundings that are stressing you out, the noise, the background noise of life, or you're in a confrontation with someone, or you're having an exchange with someone that feels noisy to your energetics, choose the power of silence. If someone is asking you a question and you don't really have the answer, or you don't want to share the answer, or you just don't want to engage, the power of silence is important. So I don't feel like we all have to be hermits, although it is hermit season. Being in Virgo season, it is the card of the hermit, is the Virgo card. But we don't have to necessarily go into hermit mode, but we do want to make sure that we understand the value of silence. And I know for me, obviously, I talk a lot. It's my Gemini moon. I also have social.
No.
Yes, it's our Gemini, right? I also have social anxiety. And when I am in certain situations where I don't know anyone, or I'm feeling a bit uncomfortable, or I'm overwhelmed with the energy, what I have learned is I tend to fill the silence because it's uncomfortable for me and I don't know what to do with it. I blah, 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 blah. Now, it's been years since I kind of had this revelation, and obviously I've shifted that up a little bit, and I've learned the power of silence in many situations, in many cases. But many of us feel that, where it's like, okay, it's a pregnant pause. What do we do with a pregnant pause? Stop or go, but don't give me a maybe or a wait. The power of silence is what we all want to explore this week, because there are going to be some real poignant experiences, both in the collective as well as in our individual lives, I'm hearing. And you really want to weigh out, if I'm going to say something, let it mean something. Don't let me speak, or I don't want to speak if I don't need to. I don't want to waste that energy. I want to keep that energy in. And this is helpful when you're dealing with, people who need to be right instead of happy, right? Sometimes it's the power of silence. Let them say what they want to say. Okay. There's no point in arguing. There's no point in those certain situations to waste your energy, because it's going to amount to nothing other than a drain of your energy, right? So explore this week the power of silence. And I feel like each and every one of us is going to have an opportunity where you're going to go, oh my God, she was right. I did have that experience where, maybe I should have been more silent, or, oh yeah, she popped into my head, or what she said popped into my head. And I knew the power of silence. I'm just going to sit and hold space, or I'm going to listen to this person and then I'm going to move on. Or I'm not going to respond. I'm not going to react. I'm not going to feed into this. The power of silence. It'll be interesting to see sort of what happens. All right, now I would like to channel some archangelic support today. I'm not sure who's going to come in, but let's get some support for this week. It feels like the energy of this week is going to be a bit interesting, a little bit up and down. And so, how do we navigate that? So I'm just going to kind of go into my happy place here, and we'll see who comes through from the Archangelic Collective. Greetings from the Archangelic Collective. You know me as Archangel Metatron. I wish to speak to you today on the energy of truth. Truth on your planet and in your realm is multi-sided, multifaceted. There is not one right or one wrong truth among you. And yet there is much arguing, disagreement, warring even, over the concept of right and wrong. You do live in a world of duality, and this is the aspect that is purposefully explored in this particular dimension. But we invite you to consider that you can explore duality from a number of different vantage points and perspectives. Duality does not mean that you must adhere to the extremist ends of a situation. For the truth always lies somewhere in the middle. And living in a dualistic environment often can create friction because the human nature is to seek out the extreme good, or in some cases to experience the judgment of perceived bad. You are in a time on your planet now where you are being invited to change that dynamic and to open more to the power of the in-between, the void, if you will. As you are on your journeys this week and you are implementing the value of silence in your lives, open also to the grayness of truth, to what truth means for you. All experiences that you choose to explore this week around the power of silence will also give you the opportunity to evaluate truth in its many facets. There is no right answer or wrong answer. It is merely an observational exercise for you to ponder if you choose. We, as always, are curious as to how you will receive these experiments. We know that you have the power to choose what is for your highest and best. And this is what we support above all else. Enjoy the exploration. I step back now in a silence filled with love and pride for all who walk your journey. Okay. Keone, what time is it? Yay. All right, so today let's get some supportive messaging from our tarot and our oracle decks for the week. And our tarot deck for this week, ooh, they're flying all over the place, is I chose the Light Seers deck from Chris Ann. This is one of my absolute favorite decks. And I think I might have used it last week too. And I try to keep it, you know, kind of keep it real and keep it interesting and rotate, because I have 5 billion different decks. But I was like, no, this is the one that I love the most right now. So this is the one we're going to read. Your message. What's that?
But I thought that deck sounded familiar.
Oh, yes. I use it often. And I've been using it. I've been taking a couple of really interesting sort of self-awareness, self-improvement courses that involve the use of tarot And I've been loving using this deck. The messages are just so supportive.
I
It's
can't
great.
wait for the deck that you created to return.
Oh, you're right. The
Mhm.
feathers of wisdom. I
Yep.
know. Everybody tells me I need to use it more. It feels so self-serving sometimes. And a lot of times when I create something, it's through me and it's out of me, and I don't even think about it anymore, which is so weird. But thank you for that reminder. I will definitely bring it back. So our tarot card of the week is Four of Wands. And Four of Wands is so beautiful because it really symbolizes or marks the embarking of a new journey. So the way I like to describe this, people call this the marriage card. What I see with this is, if you think about it, okay, we start to date, we meet each other, and we start to date, and we've got passion and romance, and it's fun, and we like each other, and we're going to continue to date. Then we go into a different phase of our relationship when we decide to get engaged, and there's a different feeling to the relationship. It opens both of you up to, or in other situations, open situations, it opens all parties involved up to a different level of exploration of one another, as well as, oh, we're getting ready to create sort of this third energy in our relationship. It's not only you and I separately, individually, and sometimes we come together and have fun. It's you and I, and now this entity that is called marriage. We're preparing for that. What does that mean? How does that shift us? How does that evolve us? And then the Four of Wands is okay, we're having the marriage ceremony. It is happening now. And so we are, happily saying goodbye to the engagement phase. We are happily embarking on, this new day begins the new chapter of our lives. But it's momentous, right? Because you understand that, well, anyone who's been married or living common law understands the shift that happens from engagement to a deeper commitment, or from not living together to living together. There's just a deeper awareness of other in that relationship. So Four of Wands is coming through to let us know this week that there is a certain level of foundation being laid around the new chapter. And of course, we're all in this shift together. And it's interesting because we got the power of silence as our message, and we got some, words of wisdom that there are going to be some interesting experiences coming into the mix that we get to learn from. What I'm feeling when I tap into this card is it's a message to say not everything is going to be bad. Not everything is going to be dun dun dun, like I say. It's actually recognizing that, yes, there's a celebration of passing from one phase of the relationship to another phase, but we also know that marriage is hard. And when the celebration is there because you need to hang on to that for a while, because you go through the honeymoon period, and then after that it's like, holy cannoli, like this shit is real. How do we get through all of this? There's challenges, and there's things flying at us. What is all of this about? So I feel like the message for us this week is really inviting us to recognize how we can bring a little bit more of the celebration, the magic, into the space that we're in, because we can celebrate the passing of the past. We can celebrate what has been and what has already been manifested, while we are also simultaneously celebrating the new that's coming in. And four is also a number of manifestation. So what is it that we're manifesting? Yeah, it's chaotic. If you think about weddings, there's all sorts of crazy stuff that goes on. There's a lot of moving parts. It's a difficult thing to orchestrate, right? It's a difficult thing at times to organize and to have it, go off without a hitch. And anybody who can do that and make that happen, hats off to you, because it's very rare that and I've been to a lot of weddings in my opera singing days. I used to go to weddings constantly as part of the job, and often was invited to the not the rehearsals, the receptions, and there was always something, right? There's always something. You can be as organized as possible, and there's always going to be something. So this is an invitation for us to celebrate the good, to celebrate in spite of the chaos that we might find ourselves in spite of the fact that as a collective, we do not have all of our ducks in a row, but we can celebrate the fact that we are in the process of building something new. So embrace that energy of building something new, understanding that the process of manifestation is messy. Giving birth to something is messy. Even just the process of creation, trying to figure out what it is I want to create. I know I always use paint, but it's a great analogy. You get the palette out and the palette is nice and clean until you start putting different things of paint on there. And oh, it looks so pretty. But then once you start painting, it gets all messed up in there. It takes effort to keep everything, sort of, I want to say, in its place or not combine. And sometimes you just surrender to it and say, okay, it is what it is. My purple is now a funky brown. Let me work with that brown and just see what it wants to become. Or I need to get a new palette, and start from scratch, however you want to approach that. But I feel like it's an interesting message for us this week because we are, one of my best friends says, we're in the messy middle. And we're going to be in the messy middle for a while. It's part of the creation process. We're creating a new life. We're creating a new approach to energy and to the world, love-based frequency, not fear-based frequency. And it takes some time to process.
I've been in the messy middle for 2 decades.
Well, maybe now is your time. Look at it that way. Now is your time. You've done all that other stuff, and now is your time.
Somebody told me that 10 years ago, but all right. I'm just kidding.
All right. So our oracle card, Pure Magic Oracle by Andreas and Gracia. And we have telekinesis. And I love this. It reminds me of the Ace of Swords. Now, the messaging on this card isn't necessarily connected to the Ace of Swords, but the picture just reminds me of that. And the Ace of Swords is inspiration, new thought. So the message on the card, telekinesis, influence, willpower, control, and obstacles. So I'm definitely feeling that when we talk about swords can be weapons or tools, right? Depending on how you wield the sword. And when we're talking about telekinesis, it's moving things with our mind, right? It's the power to move objects with our mind, or the power to, I want to say, mind control, right? To tap into someone's. It's a little bit different than mind reading, but it is the power to, we could say, manipulate or to utilize, depending on, what side of the fence you decide that you want to step into. And this week in particular, especially when we're talking about the Four of Wands energy, and we're also talking about that power of silence, telekinesis doesn't use words. Telekinesis uses the power that you have within your body to channel it through the mind. So I feel like this card is also emphasizing that message about the power of silence, that sometimes your silence and the energy that you're transmitting when you're silent to a response, or when you are giving silence so that someone else can process or sit in that space, you're using your power of telekinesis. You are exchanging energy that doesn't have to come through the words. And honestly, sometimes it's more powerful than any words that we could use. So when we're talking about here, influence, willpower, control, obstacles, you have the ability to influence the situation through your willpower. You can choose whether you want to feel completely in control or out of control. You can utilize control in positive or negative ways. You have the choice to do that. And all of it is to evaluate where you're at with your obstacles. Because let's face it, we all have obstacles, right? I like to say, yeah, sometimes a challenge, the nice way of calling a challenge is the nice way to say a challenge is to say an opportunity. It's a way to shift it up. It's a way to just reframe the energy that you're putting towards the word. When we hear challenge, some people hear challenge and like, yes, I want to do the Ironman challenge. When I hear challenge, most of the time I'm like, oh God, more work, more effort. Are you kidding me? Can't I just have some ease? Right? So it's all in how we perceive the word. The word carries weight. It carries energy. So when we're talking about obstacles this week, I feel like the obstacles really are, we can say obstacles or opportunities. It's something that's showing up in your path. If we don't look at it as an obstacle and we look at it as, what are you here to show me? Why are you here? Why are you showing up? You have something to teach me, or you have something to offer me. Help me to see it from the perspective that helps me to not see it as an obstacle, but to see it as an opportunity. And I'm going to do that primarily in my mind, because the mind is connected to the ego. And the ego is the one that tries to take control. The ego is the one that gets frustrated with the fact that, the wedding doesn't go according to plan, and things go a little bit, off kilter, or, whatever happens, rather than focusing on the celebration and why you're celebrating in the first place, right? And the power of silence. Use your mind from an intuitive perspective, from a psychic, energetic perspective. Use the mind to help you, not to hinder you. Hindering is fear, anger, control. Well, anger isn't a bad thing, but sometimes anger, misplaced anger, can be destructive, right? In ways that you don't want. So use the power of silence to channel your energy for good, for what is going to most serve your highest and best, for what is most going to allow you to shift out of the old and embrace the new, even if that's just embracing a foundation for the new to come in. You're not necessarily ready to fully embrace the new yet. Open yourself to those possibilities. I feel like that's really, really important. Very cool. Also, it's a number 7, 16. So numerology is 7, and 7 is also a divine manifestation number. So we have the 4 of Wands, and 4 is, I said, manifestation, but it's kind of the manifestation that happens when you're creating a plan. You've had the inspiration. You've sort of guesstimated at a little bit of a plan. You've started to create a little bit. Now it's actually starting to show up in the world. It's starting to manifest. It's starting to become tangible. 7 is the prototype, the completed prototype before it goes into mass production. And mass production is number 8, which means if you don't get all the bells and whistles right, if you don't, find any of the mistakes, or you don't do any of the tweaks that are required, you're going to have a ton of whatever you manifested that is half-ass, or not exactly what it was you were looking for, right? It's going to have one flaw, or not be what it needs to be. So be clear in your thoughts and understand that manifestation is at the core of this. And I'm not talking about, the secret version of manifestation. I'm talking about frequency. What frequency are you putting out into the world? And what frequency are you taking in order to elevate? Or maybe you're not elevating. Maybe you're coming down. It's a lower vibrational energy versus a higher vibrational energy. The goal is the higher vibration. That's what we want to manifest. That's where we want to stay as much as humanly possible. Wow. Okay. So, Keone, I am going to go into my happy place yet again, because who doesn't want to be in their happy place, right? I'm going to channel a couple of questions for us to ask for our card pull. And,
you mean you're going to channel a couple of questions for this?
Grab your deck. I love it.
That's right. Grab your decks. All right, everybody, while you're grabbing your deck, there's a couple things. So if you want to come on live, make sure you click in the chat. We have that link for you to come on live. We'll do the live readings first, and then we'll get to as many of the requests of card pulls from YouTube and from Facebook. Thank you, YouTube family, for being here. Thank you, Facebook family, for being here. You both can't see each other, but you'll see it when I highlight your requests. So remember to click that link. Remember to like and subscribe. 78% of the people who watch this show aren't subscribed. So please subscribe to go ahead and help Stacy out. Again, live card pulls will be read first, and then we will go into the chat. If you have your own deck, just put in the chat what cards you pulled, and Stacy will go ahead and inform you of what that means. If you need a card pulled for you, just state, I would like a card pulled for me. You can say tarot or from the Oracle deck. And if we have time, we'll try to get to both. But we should, of course, have time to do at least one of them. We'll do both. And if we're running out of time, we'll get to one. We try to get as many of these in as possible because Stacy, if I let her, she'll talk to 10 p.m. But I don't want her to talk till 10 p.m. because I have other things to do. All right. But I love all this wonderful advice, and I love all of you who show up every week. I see Tri-Red is here. I see Christy is here. Brooke, I saw you the last couple of weeks. Thank you for coming by. Sweet Tart, I haven't seen you before. If you're new, welcome. Chelsea, Annexella, Nicole, Paula, Princess Nora, Terry, always here, Kay Bradford's, Patsy, Cynthia, and of course Ragu. If I missed anybody else, we'll get you on the back end. Thank you all. Stacy is ready. Are you ready? What are our questions, Stacy? What questions are we asking today?
All right. Well,
are you smiling because the background is back?
I'm smiling because the background is back. And honestly, I'm smiling because it took you so long to go through the list and acknowledge all the people that are on right now, which just, I can't even tell you. It's like, it gives me hope that I'm actually doing something that's making somewhat of a difference in the world. So thank you all for being here and being a part of this. Journey. Yeah,
you are doing something positive. I don't get in trouble on Wednesday nights anymore. I'm here with you.
You don't. That's right. I keep you in line.
All right.
What's a good thing.
What we got?
All right. So here are our questions for this week. Your first card pull is, how can you embrace the power of silence for deeper connection to it this week? How can you embrace the power of silence for deeper connection to that silence this week? Card pull number 2. What energy can help you prepare for the marriage we are all collectively embarking on in our world this week? So what energy can help you prepare for the collective marriage we are embarking on in our world this week? And what I mean by that is, when we were talking about the message, it's understanding that as a collective, we are creating something new. We're creating a new version of our relationship to ourselves and to each other. So that's what I'm referring to when I say the marriage, the collective marriage.
Collective marriage. Those are good questions. And we have 9 requests from the chat, and we have 2 that are on here live. So we'll start with the live, of course. Remember also, I forgot, and everybody, I apologize. If you want to come on live, but you don't want to be on camera, that's fine. We just would love to hear your voice. And this week, we had Ragu last week. So this week, of course, we have the wonderful Indu.
Hi, Indu. How are you?
Hi, Stacey. Hi, Keone. Good evening.
Good evening. Happy Ganesha Festival.
Thank you. Same to you both.
I love your beautiful garb. It's so awesome. And is it correct that I'm seeing it as sort of like a burnt orange color?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh my God, I love it. It's very much about the abundance, the sexuality, the sensuality. It's all about it's the sacral chakra. So it's that creative flow. It's the ocean of emotion. I love that you're wearing it proud.
Thank you.
Awesome. So what card deck are you using today?
I'm using the tarot card, the Rider-Waite-based tarot.
Fantastic. So what did you do for the first card? The Fool. I love the Fool. So
me?
She chose you, Keone. She chose you. Look, it's a perfect likeness and everything. So I love the Fool card, and here's why. We always laugh about the Fool card, but really it's symbolic. It's the very first card in the major arcana, and it symbolizes a brand new journey. It symbolizes being free, like you cast off all of the past. You cast off all of the lessons that you just learned of the previous chapter, and you're getting ready to step into the new chapter. So it's very fitting. It really ties in with the Four of Wands energy. So the question was, how can you embrace the power of silence for deeper connection to that silence this week? So tell me what you are drawn to on the card.
Well, it's the sun on the back. I mean, there's nothing to worry about. There's a lot of confidence and strength. When I was looking at the card, I saw the dog, and so there was a question: is the dog happy and supporting this person, or is he warning him, saying that you're at the edge of the cliff and you're going to fall off? So be careful. But the guy, he's resolute. I mean, he's confident. He has no worries, and he feels okay with the world. So confident. That I'm getting the word confident.
Love it. I
Yes.
absolutely love it.
The
What's
things,
the dog saying to you?
the dog actually is right now. He looks happy. He said, "Yeah, let's jump."
Absolutely. He's in it with you. So you've got a companion on your journey. So silence is your companion. You can look at the dog as the silence, and the sun. I often see, and actually the sun card in tarot, I always interpret it as truth. It's the light of truth. So the light of truth is lighting your way as you are stepping into this power of silence, and you're fully supported in all of that. I'm also getting for you that this week there's something coming up. It feels like it's around career, feels like it's around work, where someone is going to be asking for your opinion, and you're going to feel a bit triangulated, or you're not going to feel quite like you're not sure what's going on. Am I supposed to say what I really think? Is this going to get me in trouble? Like, where is this all coming from? And what I keep hearing is you definitely want to speak your truth, because whoever is asking and whoever is listening both need to hear the message that you have to say, because they're both going to receive it in the ways that they need to, and they're going to see you in a different light, in a more positive light. Not that they see you in a negative light now, but I feel like you're going to actually solve a months long problem that they've been having, that keeps them from being able to communicate with one another. And your solution, or your truth on the matter, comes up and gives everyone a fresh perspective, and it solves the problem. So keep that in mind this week. It feels really, really important.
Okay.
So your second card pull, what energy can help you prepare for the collective marriage we are embarking on in our world this week?
It literally jumped off the lab. Uh, okay, I got it. The card is from Kyle Gray's Keepers of the Light.
Oh, fantastic.
The card I pulled is Freya, Phases and Cycles.
Oh, I love it. I love that deck. I love that. And I'm really drawn to the raven. The raven in the background. Ravens travel between both worlds, the underworld and the upper world, right? So very magical in nature. So yeah, tell me what you see when you're looking at your oracle card.
This is a gentle energy of the moon, and life's ebbs and flows. Nothing is static. Nothing actually ever comes to an end or a standstill.
Love it.
So just take it as it comes, and you'll always find balance.
Absolutely. So when we're asking about the energy that can help you to prepare, it's understanding that everything has an ebb and flow. And so you don't have to get worked up about it. You just need to ride the wave.
Yes.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I love that. What is the actual message on the card? I know he says a couple sentences.
It says, there is a beginning within every ending. Illusions are revealed and released.
Yes. And that's very moon-like. The moon really represents, a lot of people say, oh, yeah, it represents our intuition. Yes, it does, but it also represents the mystery. It represents the unknown, and it represents the illusion. Things are not always what they seem. So sometimes when you go into the ebb and flow and you're just in that rhythm, in that cycle, it reveals to you whatever the illusion was. If you wait long enough, the power of silence. If you wait long enough and you're in that ebb and flow long enough, you'll actually be able to see exactly what it is. Whereas if you're trying to push through or bulldoze or figure it out before it's ready to reveal itself, you waste a lot of energy.
As you said, just be silent and receive. The message will come to you.
Yes, I love it. Thank you, Indu. That was awesome.
All right. Indu and her perfect attendance.
Yes, I love it. Have an amazing rest of your night.
You too. Bye, Jenny. Bye, Stacy.
Bye.
All right, next on live is a wonderful young talented tarot reader who's joining us
Awesome.
today. I was telling you about her earlier today is Alexina.
Hi, Alexina. How are you?
Hi, I'm good.
Good. I loved your background. Is that a
Oh, thank
flag
you.
or what do we got going on there?
Oh, okay. So my whole room kind of has that little aesthetic going on. Really, it was just purple, and I couldn't figure out anything else to go with the purple theme, so I found these. But I've always been kind of spiritual, like for a majority of my life, having tarot cards and things like that.
Love it. I absolutely love it. Well, awesome. Let's get you some card pulling. So, what deck are you using today?
Okay, so do I pull the card?
Yeah, you can pull the card, or if you want me to pull a card for you, I'm happy to do that too. Whatever floats your boat.
All right. This is my deck, the Muse Tarot.
Oh, the Muse. Yes, the Muse is awesome. I love that deck as well.
You have it?
I do have it. I have so many decks, girl.
She's got like 900 decks. Okay.
Oh wow.
A lot.
Yeah, I think for this one, I would rather have you pull the card.
Okay, that sounds good. So for the first one we have, how can you embrace the power of silence for deeper connection to that silence this week? And the card just popped out, so it wants to speak to you. 5 of Swords. So you are the last few months especially, you've been getting caught up in your head. There's a lot of stuff that's been going around. I call it monkey mind. And you've had so much monkey mind that it has actually been distracting you from what you actually already know to be your truth. There's someone in your life that has kind of thrown you for a loop. It feels like this person appears on the surface to be one thing, but then when you go a little bit deeper, you're like, wait a second, I'm kind of missing the boat. Not necessarily in a bad way, just in a way where they're nondescript. You can't quite put your finger on it. And it keeps throwing you off because you think, okay, we're going in this direction and I see clearly where this is at. And okay, I know what's going to happen next. And then they do something completely random. And you're like, okay, I don't even know what that means. How do I move forward with that? What I feel is happening for you this week in particular, and I know I'm getting off topic here with the embracing the power of silence, but it's just something that's coming through. When you're dealing with individuals that you can't quite predict, when you're dealing with individuals who, because you interact with a lot of people, you're empathic, so you tap into people, you can read people very well. You know, you're 9.999% of the time, 99% of the time you are on it. But there's that 0.001% of the time where you get someone that throws you for a loop. Whenever that happens, you want to stop and pay attention because there's an opportunity for mastery in that exchange, whether it's a relationship exchange or whether it's just a, in the moment exchange and you never see that person again. You want to step into a place of observance. So how can you embrace the power of silence for deeper connection to it this week? You got to get out of your head. This is a card of conflict, as you well know. And so when we're talking about that conflict, it's an inner conflict. A lot of people see this as, swords and clashing and fighting. And sometimes it can indicate people, getting in the middle of that with people. But for you, I feel that this is an internal battle. And whoever this person is that I'm tapping into, but that you can't quite read yet, and you're kind of freaking out, it's causing you a little bit of self-doubt because you're not actually listening to the inner voice or the inner guidance. You're trying to figure it out. Why do I not know who this person is? What's wrong with me? Am I broken? Like, why can't I figure this out? You're not supposed to figure it out. It's supposed to be a path of mastery. So it's observing something, learning something. And in that learning, it's going to transform you. It's going to transform you in some pretty big ways. Also, what I'm seeing here, the background of this card, you see all of these beautiful birds. And then in the background, you see this guy who's kind of under the light of spirit. And he looks happy. He's jumping for joy. I feel like this is kind of your, it's like your high self. It's like that intuitive guidance that's coming through that's actually happy and joyful and wants you to ride the stream of light, wants you to ride the energy, the frequency that is going to help to keep you in higher heights, not to keep you so grounded. And you notice we don't see his legs, we don't see his feet. So he's actually not grounded. We're assuming he's standing on land, but look at all the water behind him. He might be floating in the ocean. We don't know. He might be a bobblehead, right? Doing gong, 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 like a Bowie. So for you, I feel like you also want to consider where you are grounding yourself into. You know, are you grounding yourself into the earth, or are you grounding yourself into someone else's emotions? Are you trying to ground yourself into your own emotions? Where are you focused? And is that focus serving you? Is that focus connected to your truth? The second card, what energy can help you prepare for the collective marriage that we are all embarking on in our world this week? Do you want a tarot pull or an oracle pull for this one?
A tarot.
Okay, awesome. She's a purist, folks. She's a purist. Eight of Pentacles. I shit you not, this is the card of mastery. So we were just talking about mastery, and now you have the card of mastery. So that's pretty impressive. Okay, so the energy, what energy can help you with all of the energy that's going on around us in the collective? You're a person with a big heart. You really do want to make a difference. You don't quite know exactly how you want to do that. You have some ideas, but you haven't fully stepped on the path. And you're also a person that you step on the path and you're in it to win it. You commit to whatever you're in at the moment. And then when it's done, you move on to the next. And then you're committing to that path. And that's all good. That's going to shift and change, because I feel like what you're getting ready to step into now is many paths leading to the same direction, but you're not going to necessarily need to make a choice. The choice is going to be in, I can't make a choice to sacrifice any of these. They're all equally important to me. They're all equally necessary to my path of mastery. And so it's about putting the hard work. It's putting the effort into it. This is also often people see this as a card of education. This is not a card of, I want to say, physical education for you. This is a card of the energetic. And so you're really going to be stepping on a path where you're learning the energetics of life. So tarot is a tool that can help you to access that inner guidance and access certain aspects of your energy. But it itself, by itself, doesn't hold energy. We put the energy into it. We give it the value that it holds. So when you're talking about what can help you in the collective marriage, you know, preparing for that collective marriage, it's understanding that I may have multiple different paths. I'm not focused on just one. I'm focused on many. And she's got the cycles of the moon on here. So it could indicate also month to month. You're going month to month. And there are things that you're going to be learning in those monthly cycles that are really powerful in allowing you to really open up to your path of mastery. Look at the light that is ahead of her. It's not even behind her. Sometimes it looks that way, but it's ahead of her. She's walking into the sunset, right? She's walking into the beauty of that sunset. There's pink, there's yellow, there's orange. Self-love and self-care, identity, mastery, co-creation, your truth, how you choose to transform. And then, of course, the sacral, the sensuality, sexuality, creative expression, and flow, the ocean of emotion. All of that is combining into the vision of what you are offering out into the world. It's what you're contributing. And so I feel very much that the next 3 months, I know this is outside of the scope of this week, but the next 3 months, you're really going to be, it's going to be brought to the surface, these different opportunities. And I keep seeing 3. So three paths of contribution. And each path is going to be significant to you and going to be so important that you're going to say, I need to figure out how to combine them or to do them all simultaneously, because there isn't one that I can truly fully commit to without the other 2. And this is you stepping more fully into, I want to say, the clarity of where you're going, really embracing that purpose, that purposeful energy coming through. This also happens to be a Virgo card. So I think that's funny that it's poignant that it's coming up during the Virgo season. So hope that helps. Wonderful to have you on today.
Yeah, I'm sorry I wasn't speaking. When I do like my own readings, I go through my head. Like when you said that in my head a lot, that's 100% true. Like these past couple of months, literally, I've just been self-reflecting, constantly learning everything I can about myself. And I'm just like, I get stuck and I end up not speaking because I'm just up there all the time. And so, yeah, you were like completely, you were on point. Yeah, I'm very glad that it chose to come today. Yeah, thank you.
Good. My pleasure.
We'll see you in the future, Alexandra. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice day, guys.
You too. Take care.
We've got two more that popped in live. We've got Kimberly Bradford. Sorry, Kimberly.
Hey.
Hey.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes,
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Perfect. I can.
Awesome, girl. So nice to see you. What
you're on with Stacy and the Knucklehead.
Hello, hello.
The Knucklehead, aka Keone, aka Keone. So would you like a card pull today, or do you have your cards with you?
I'm going to let you pull for me.
Awesome. Do you want tarot and oracle, or just tarot, or just oracle?
Let's do, unless you feel something different, let's do oracle and tarot.
Sounds great. We'll start with the oracle. So the first question, how can you embrace the power of silence for deeper connection to that silence this week? Oh, that's your card. Hecate or Hecate's path, the cycle of life, night magic, crossroads, and letting go. So what I'm feeling for you here when we talk about embracing the power of silence, what I keep hearing is the saying, would you rather be right or happy? And I feel very much that the message of letting go is really coming up for you this week. And it's not going to show up in obvious ways for you. So the ways that you might think, you're dealing with, and I happen to know you, so I know
Yes.
there are particular situations that you're in the process of working through and dealing with, as are we all.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to come through completely differently. In fact, I feel like it's almost like something that comes in through the side door. You're not expecting it, and all of a sudden it's there. And what I'm hearing is you want to let it go by really recognizing that it's kind of like no matter what you say, it's not going to matter. So just let it be what it is. It's also, by the way, not a situation where you're being like I want to say where it's like conflict. It's more like witnessing or observing someone's crash, someone's personal train wreck. Mm-hmm. And the example that I'm getting in my head, or the analogy I'm getting in my head here, is like standing in line at the grocery store and watching someone come completely unglued in line ahead of you, and just holding space, but also recognizing there's not a whole lot I can do here in the physical. I'm just going to send love and light, or I'm going to support the people who are needing to support this person. It's finding other ways of doing that. I feel very much it's about letting go, because your natural inclination is to get in. Mm-hmm. So I feel like for you, letting go, and that, again, it really ties in with that power of silence. So by letting go, I'm choosing not to engage, but I might be sending energy and love, but I'm not engaging with words. I'm not getting overly involved. I'm letting it be, letting it unfold, and letting that person sit in that pregnant silence that I'm creating. And the pregnant silence, of course, is my energy. What energy can help you prepare for the collective marriage that we're embarking on in the world this week? Oh, beautiful one for you. Oh, and you got 2 6s. So this is a 6 and this is a 6. We've got 6 of swords. Did I have that upside down? No, I got it right side up. So 6 is very important because it's the number of harmony, balance, and alignment. And so I'm feeling very much that this week also is setting the tone for you to really have I feel like it's observational. You're observing what is going to bring you harmony, balance, and alignment. You're observing what you can choose in each and any given moment, how to achieve that. And 6 of Swords is one of my favorite cards in the deck. Years ago, it used to scare the crap out of me because I didn't really understand the imagery. But what this basically is it's support and grace. It's Source saying, hey, you walk up to the shore, you've had a really long trip, you're exhausted, you're frustrated, you just need to get where you're going, you're running low on funds, you haven't had, food in a while, you've got your last drip of water, and you just need to make it across the river. And you say to the guy, can you take, how much to take me across the river? And he takes one look at you and he says, you know what? just hop in the boat. I can see that you're weary. I can see that you're tired. Let me just take you across the river. And no, you don't have to take the oars. You don't have to do the work. Just sit in the boat and look at the surroundings around you, and I'll make sure you get where you need to go. It's that relief. It's like someone comforting you rather than you being in the space of comfort. And I feel like this is something that when we're talking about that, preparing for the collective marriage that we're embarking on, it's really about saying, hey, we got this. Just take a step back and allow the flow. This card also is a really great blend of air and water. So we have both elements that are highly psychic, right? It's all the psychic energy. It's the physical psychic as well as what we're receiving from source, the intuition. And so this combination and this blend is really important because you can't truly access both if you're not sitting in a place of quiet or silence or balance within yourself. I feel that what's coming up for you this week is giving yourself permission to say yes to the universe when they say, I got this. Let me handle it. Let me take care of it. You don't have to control the bus, right? You don't have to control the bus. The bus is going to drive itself, or spirit's going to drive the bus and get you where you need to be.
Okay.
Yeah. So be in flow this week.
Which we know is not my best quality.
It's not mine either, girls. I totally feel you. The beauty of this card, though, is saying for you specifically, you're always in a place of trying to navigate the waters. And Spirit is saying, no, you don't have to navigate anything. Just get in the boat.
Okay.
Got it. Get in the boat. So this week, I feel it's a lot of observance for you. And it's a lot of when you normally would step up and say something, maybe this is the time to apply that power of silence to observe what's happening, because it is going to help you to prepare for the collective marriage. Talk about marriage. It's sometimes it's a shit show. Sometimes it's amazing and wonderful. And sometimes it's just like, why the hell did I do this? I would be so much happier on my own. Right? We vacillate, right? And that's humanity. That is life. That is the growth of things. So you don't have to make this work. Let it go and allow it to work on its own. Allow it to grow and take you where you need to go.
That sounds good. Thank you, Stacy.
You are so welcome. Sending you so much love. I'm so grateful to see you today.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. We're gonna go to doing one card. We've got 2 more live, so we can make sure we get them in. And we have our next live person, Melina.
Hey, Melina, how are you?
I am fabulous. How are you?
Oh, I'm so
surprised.
See you. Yes, it is a surprise. It's a very pleasant, happy, joyful surprise. I'm grateful for it.
Yay! I'm glad. Well, I pulled 2 cards from the same deck. Was I supposed to do that?
Absolutely. What deck did you choose?
It's called Tarot of the Divine by Yoshitani.
Ooh.
I don't know if you can see. Let me go back in front of the camera.
Oh,
the front of the box is the one with the girl with the red bridge. I think I've showed you this before. There we go.
That is so beautiful. I can't wait to see these cards.
Well, I don't like the first card very much. It's from a Canadian. Now, these are from folklore around the globe. So it could be from anywhere. This is a Canadian, the Inuit tribe. It's the 10 of Swords.
Okay.
But on this particular cards, it's a little bit kind of disturbing. It's got the man cutting the arms off of the girl that was in the kayak with him, and it's kind of a little scary.
Yeah, it sounds a little like murder.
It does. I'm like, ooh.
Let's talk about 10 of Swords. So 10 of Swords, kind of like the 6 of Swords, where I said before it used to scare the crap out of me, but now I love it. 10 of Swords I also love too. I see it as an element of the Phoenix. It's rebirth. And so when we get the 10 of Swords, it's really indicating like 10 is new beginnings based on an already established foundation. Swords is the realm of the mind. So either we're receiving the psychic guidance or we're in our monkey mind. We're overthinking things. And so 10 of Swords basically says, you've literally come to the end. Like, you've tried to hold on as long as you can. You've overstayed your welcome, or you have beaten the soul contract to death. And the universe is saying, stick a fork in it. Let's go. We got to move on to bigger and brighter.
Fine by me.
That ace, right? That new beginning.
Yeah.
So the 10 of Swords, and I mean, each depiction, the depictions are important. That one is a little bit more violent, but really what it's saying is, if we really look at it, that Inuit individual is actually disposing of a body that no longer serves the soul that was in that body. So the Inuit is actually doing a service by saying, you are now set free to go off and create a new horizon, using the lessons from the past, using the lessons that you have learned from your previous existence. But it does have an energy or a symbol for you that you've overstayed your welcome somewhere, or that you're trying to hang on to something that is no longer yours to heal, fix, or otherwise deal with. So I feel like that's something really important coming up. And if we're talking about how can you embrace the power of silence for deeper connection to it this week, I feel like, I mean, death is pretty silent, right? So it's kind of like, okay, I'm going to sit in the silence of this truth, of this deeper knowing that where is it that I'm staying longer? Where is it that I'm trying to do something that is no longer my path to do? And so I feel that that's going to be a big question coming up for you. What's your second card pull?
The second card is beautiful. It's, whoops, if I can get it in here. It's the star. Look how pretty.
The star.
Look how pretty it is.
Favorite. I mean, they're all my favorites, but the star is so my favorite card. I always identify with the star. So when I see the star, I see it as vision. Typically in traditional tarot, people read it as the health card or the healer. I feel that there are other cards that I connect to the healing with, but I also believe that vision can be healing, especially when you're coming out of a phase or a cycle where you've been sort of, I want to say, in the phoenix growing, where there's not a whole lot going on. You don't really know where you're going next, but you're not quite who you were before. You're kind of in that womb, right? The gestation period. Well, the vision gives you something to work towards, right? It all of a sudden says, there's the purpose. And then it reignites that soul flame energy. So what energy can help you to prepare for the collective marriage that we are embarking on in our world this week? I'm feeling that that is really, really powerful, because it's holding on to your vision of what you see the world becoming. And you know, you are active. You are very much choosing to be involved, and you're very clear about how you're choosing to be involved. So when all else kind of goes to, murder and mayhem, and it's interesting that you pulled the first card, that it looks like the murder and mayhem, that's how you see the world from your 3D view. But when you're looking at it from that light worker perspective, or you're looking at that from your soul purpose perspective, now suddenly it makes more sense. I need to hang on to the vision of where humanity's going, not where they are right now. It's not about the death. It's not about the destruction. It's about the creation. And star has a lot of the potential of creation. And you're also this week, I feel, going to really be evaluating what you want to create in your own life right now. There's a big decision that you're going to be making, and I feel like you're going to be making it like that in this week, when you finally you lock into it, and there's going to be no fear, there's going to be no doubt. You're just clear on your path, and you're hanging on to the vision. That star is giving you extra energy this week. I feel that's important to know.
That's the second time this week I've pulled the star card.
Love it. It's a good energy to be. It's a really good energy to be in. So hang on to your vision, because your vision is valid. Your vision makes sense.
All right. Thank you so much, dear heart.
You are so welcome,
Melina. Thank you for enjoying.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Care.
We have one more live, and sorry guys that are in the chat, we won't be able to get to you next week when you come on. Just let me know, and I'll put you to the front of the line. Sometimes we don't have a lot of lives, sometimes we do, so we try to get to the lives first, apologize for not getting to you today. We're going to wrap up with Stacy. Hi, Stacy.
Hey, Stacey.
Hey, how's it going? Stacy.
I was just thinking that I'm like you spell it the same way as me. I feel like I've read for you before. You look super familiar to me.
You haven't read for me before, but I've been this is the first call that I've been a part of. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, welcome. Maybe it's just
Thank
like
you.
a sister connection or something. I don't know, but very cool.
EY is powerful.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So do you have your own deck, or do you want me to pull some cards for you today?
I would love for you to pull.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Want tarot, oracle, or a combo of both?
I'm not really sure. How about just go with the flow?
Okay, sounds good. I'm actually hearing I need to pull 2 tarot for you. So that's what we're going to go with.
Okay.
So the first question,
Cool.
how can you embrace the power of silence for deeper connection to it this week? Sorry, the cards just flipped out, and this was the one that flipped out to me. So I'm going to go with this one. We've got 3 of Pentacles. 3 of Pentacles is a card of collaboration. So what I'm seeing with you here is there's a certain level and energy of, it's not mastery, but it's attention to detail. And when we say, how can you embrace the power of silence for deeper connection to it this week? I feel like for you, it's paying attention to detail. And you're in a particular project, I feel right now, where it's not exactly at the beginning stages, but you're not quite halfway through either. And there are still some things, that you're trying to sort out. You're trying to figure out, I'm just going to use this as an analogy, what's the best material to use for this particular project? And, is this shade better than this shade in terms of being able to, bring the whole effect together? Is it going to match the room, that we're creating it for, as an analogy? And when we're talking about the power of silence for you, I feel like it's important to evaluate how powerful it can be to be silent when you are in a room with other people, because the power of silence for you is being able to hear their thoughts, being able to feel into their energy, and to understand what's actually going on under the surface, not only what they're saying, but what they're feeling underneath. This is something that you have done, I want to say naturally since you were a kid, but you've shut it off. And I was talking earlier, I can't remember, I think it was in the message that we got at the very beginning, the noise that is around us in the environment. There's white noise constantly, and there's energetic noise everywhere you turn. So in order for us to be able to clear that clutter out and to get really centered and balanced within us, it's a choice. It's a concerted effort that we have to make to do that, or it's setting aside time to be quiet or to be silent. You have a lot of people buzzing around you. You have a lot of superfluous noise at times. And I feel like sometimes it's in your head too. Not that it's all in your head. I mean, the noise is going on in your head. You're hearing other people's voices, and you're hearing other people's thoughts and their opinions. This is about going within and being able to say, okay, I'm going to pinpoint one voice, and I'm going to figure out, is it connected to ego voice, or is it actually intuitive guidance? Or is it that I'm tapping into another person that is around me, into their thoughts, into their feelings, where they're going? I feel very much that for you, you're very psychic. You've always been. It's no surprise to you, but there's a certain level of psychic that you're getting ready to open up into that is going to be bigger, better, badder, faster, stronger, smarter than it has before. And you've been feeling it coming on, but you haven't been quite sure what's going on because you've also had a lot of noise around you. So when we're talking about collaboration, I feel like it's actually collaborating with your heart, having your head collaborate with your heart and your soul to be able to step into that silence. It's not about the collaboration with everyone else. It's getting silent within yourself so that you can then really determine what you're hearing, feeling, seeing, receiving. And then you can step into the response of that, what you're choosing to do from that point on. That's going to bring you into that deeper embracing of the psychic knowing that you're literally like a breath away from hitting that level. And you feel it, but you've been feeling it for a while. So you're kind of like, okay, I'll believe it when I see it. But you really are that close to it. Step into that space. What energy can help you prepare for the collective marriage? Oh yeah, these cards are just
popping out today.
Right one for you, because these cards are just speaking to you like crazy. So I love this card, and I think you're going to love this card too. Check this out. Queen of Wands. So she is so in her space. She doesn't give a fat rat's ass about what anyone else is thinking or doing. She is in her glory. She is connected to her soul fire. She has divvied up her soul fire for various different projects that she's doing and interests and desires. She's also divvied it up for people in her life that she wants to assist with, that she wants to invest in. And she's doing this all with complete confidence in her knowing, in her own abilities. She's got the beautiful sunrise behind her, and I'm going to call it a sunrise because that's what it feels like to me. She is bringing the energy and the power into a new day, and there's no questioning for her how this is all going to go down. It's just a matter of the timing of it and how she chooses to orchestrate it. So if we're talking about the energy that can help you to prepare for the collective marriage that we're embarking on, it's really getting clear on where you want to invest your energy into. And you have many different options. I see you've got a lot of people pulling at your energy as well. And so there's a real energy for you to consider who is worthy and deserving of the investment of your time and your energy. And not everyone and everything is. But understand that when you do invest, you're all in. And that's important. So when you are investing, you want to make sure that others know that you're investing in them and know the value of what that means. So it's also paying attention to, well, I've already said it, who is worthy and deserving of the investment of your time and your energy. Worthy and deserving often means that they understand the gift, the amazing, powerful gift that it is to have connection with you, to have collaboration, to have your attention. And understand as well, I feel that part of this up leveling for you is also concentrated energy. So less is more. You don't have to give as much anymore to have the same effect. And it's also important, that with great power comes great responsibility. Not everyone that you're going to invest in can handle the whole wallop that you have. So it's also understanding, I'm going to give it in little doses, in small hunks and chunks to this person, but this person over here can handle it all. And so let's all get in. So you're in the process of learning to discern the way that it's not new energy for you, but it's just a more potent version of your energy. And you're learning to work with it because ultimately you are here to help. Ultimately, you are here to make a huge difference. And you already do. And you're going to make an even bigger difference as you're moving forward. So pay attention to where you're putting your energy, who is receiving that energy, and how they're best going to receive that energy. And trust in your confidence. I have a friend who calls this the witchy card. It's that I have all of my witchiness in me. I don't need anyone else's powers. I have my own powers. I love having people in my space who contribute positively to me, but otherwise, from a power perspective, I got it covered. I got it. I got this. So for you, it's embracing that energy and saying, all right, yeah, I do have this. And so I am going to put myself out into the world. I'm going to do it with tons of confidence, knowing that it's a new day and that I have the ability to really make lasting change in this collective marriage that we're all in. And it's making the choice as to how you want to contribute.
Awesome. That all resonates so much with where I'm at right now. So I'm at a kind of I quit a career of 21 years in April, and I'm just doing a lot of soul searching and kind of shifting gears, and it's very overwhelming, all of the things, but I'm doing a lot of self-work and just working on that momentum. And yeah, it's exciting I'm exactly where I need to be, but everything that you said really resonates and is helpful to hear as a message, as to apply to kind of where I'm at. So thank you very much.
Oh, my pleasure. And one quick thing, you mentioned 21 years. So in numerology, the 21 breaks down into a 3. So the fact that you left a job 21 years, it's really that you were on a path of new creation. And it is collaboration from a creative perspective. And when we're talking about, fine details and the fine print, that's really what you want to contribute. You want to contribute something that is going to be detail oriented and really be, I want to say, streamlined, so that organized, so that people go in and they use it and they get something from it right away, and out you come. And that's where your Queen of Wands energy comes into the place, because you get to make that happen like nobody else. You get to shed your light like nobody else. So thank you for sharing that. That's awesome. And you've got this.
That is awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Well, Stacy, I'm going to pop out of the way and let you bring us on home with that beautiful smile. This is a great night.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone, so much for joining. Again, click that bell if you like what you see here. Join up. We do all sorts of different videos, informative videos on my channels. I also want to tell you that I am so excited. I am working on releasing a membership, Ignite Your Wings, Wisdom for Transformation. We're all in this crazy ride called life, and it is transformative, and there's constant change, and we all need some support while we're going through it. So I'm really excited to be letting everyone know, and there's a quiz coming up. So in the next couple of weeks, I just had a meeting with my staff today, or my team, not my staff, my team, and we're picking some dates. So I'm just dropping little breadcrumbs for everyone, because I feel like the stuff that we're putting out is going to be really awesome. So there's going to be a fun quiz, and it has something to do with phoenixes. That's all I'm going to say. So keep your ears and eyes peeled. I hope everyone has an amazing week. If you need to reach out, theblackfeatherintuitive.com, and all of my social media is Black Feather Intuitive. Would love to connect. Take care, guys. See you later. Thanks, Keone.